Ever have one of those days? You're running around, putting out fires, just busy. But at the end of it all, you don't feel like you actually got anything important done? Well, you're not alone. Today, we're going to tackle that exact feeling. We're talking about how to master goal setting and prioritization to turn all that chaos into some serious clarity.
Okay, so here's what we've got on tap. First, we'll dig into this whole productivity puzzle. Then, we'll get our bearings by setting some solid strategic goals. After that, I'll show you a toolkit of awesome prioritization methods. We'll talk about mastering your time, and finally, we'll bring it all home, connecting the dots from your plan all the way to your purpose.
All right, first things first, let's talk about something I think we've all felt. It's that huge difference between just being busy, running in circles all day, and being genuinely productive, where you're actually making moves on the stuff that counts. You know exactly what I'm talking about, right? Your day is just a blur of emails, meetings, and putting out little fires everywhere. But then 5 p.m. rolls around, you look at your big projects, and crickets. Nothing's moved an inch. That's the exact puzzle we are here to solve today. And this really breaks it down perfectly. On the one hand, you've got busy work. That's the hamster wheel, right? You're just reacting to whatever seems urgent. But on the other side, you've got impactful work. This is the good stuff. It's proactive, it's planned, and it's all about focusing on what's actually important. So the big question is, how do we get off that hamster wheel? Well, the answer is clarity. You need to know where you're going. And that, my friends, is where strategic goals come into play. Think of them as your compass, pointing you away from all that busy work and towards what really matters. Yeah, strategic goals are so much more than a simple to-do list. They're like your North Star. They're the big picture objectives that answer that one crucial question. Where are we actually trying to go? So we're talking about something like increase market share by 10%, not, send the weekly sales report. Okay, but having a destination is great and all, but how do you know if you're even moving in the right direction? That's where KPIs, or key performance indicators, come in. So if your big goal is to increase market share, your KPI could be something like the number of new customer signups each week. They're basically the signposts along the way that tell you you're on track. And this is where it all clicks into place. It's really simple. Goals tell you where to go, KPIs tell you if you're actually getting there. It's that beautiful feedback loop between your big picture direction and the hard data that lets you stay on course or, make a change if you need to. All right, so we've got our compass pointed in the right direction. Now it's time to load up our toolkit for the journey ahead. We're gonna get into the real deal, practical tools you can use to sort through the mountain of tasks that hit you every single day. Now, the most important thing to get here is that there's no magic one-size-fits-all method. Nope. It's all about having a few solid tools in your belt and knowing which one to pull out for the right situation. For today, we're going to dive deep into 2 of my absolute favorites, the Eisenhower Matrix and the Pareto Principle. First up, we've got a true classic, the Eisenhower Matrix. And its power is in its simplicity. It forces you to make one critical distinction that can completely change your entire day, separating what just feels urgent from what is actually important. So here's how it works. Everything on your plate fits into one of these 4 boxes. If it's important and urgent, you do it right now. If it's important but not so urgent, you decide when to schedule it. Now, what if it's urgent but not important? This is a big one. You delegate it. And finally, if it's neither urgent nor important, you just delete it. Get it off your list. The biggest trap people fall into is that urgent but not important box. That email from a coworker with the big right exclamation point? That's probably a delegate. A major client system going down? Now that is a do. And listen, here's the secret sauce. Real game-changing productivity, it doesn't happen in the frantic, firefighting do quadrant. It happens in quadrant 2, the important but not urgent stuff. This is where you make real progress. It's all about proactively scheduling and protecting time for that deep work that pushes you toward your huge goals. Okay, next up in our toolkit is something you've probably heard of, the Pareto Principle, or as most of us know it, the 80-20 rule. This one's less about sorting your daily to-do list and more about finding the hidden leverage in your work. The idea itself is mind-blowingly simple, but it's also profound. It says that for most things in life, about 80% of your results will come from only 20% of your efforts. Just think about that for a second. It means a tiny fraction of what you do is creating almost all of your success. So, your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to become a detective. You have to constantly be asking yourself, okay, what are the 20% of things I do that are giving me 80% of my results? And once you figure that out, you have to guard the time you spend on those activities like a hawk. Okay, so let's recap. We've got our goals, we've got our prioritization tools, we're feeling good. But there's one more piece to the puzzle. How do you actually protect that precious quadrant 2 time? How do you defend that high impact 20% from all the noise and distractions that are constantly trying to pull you away? Well, the answer is a super practical technique called time blocking. And the idea is to stop living off your to-do list and start living out of your calendar. Instead of a list of stuff you hope to get to, you give every single minute of your day a job. You're telling your time where to go instead of wondering where it went. And it's really just a simple 3-step dance. Step 1, figure out your priorities for the day using the tools we just talked about. Step 2, open up your calendar and literally block out time for each of those tasks. And step 3, and this is the tough one, you have to treat those blocks like real appointments. You wouldn't just blow off a meeting with your boss, right? Treat these blocks with the same respect. Turn off the notifications and get it done. Okay, let's pull all these threads together. Because what we've been talking about, it's not just a random bunch of productivity tips. It's a whole system. It's a way to shift your entire mindset from being reactive to being driven by a real, proactive purpose. You can see how it all flows together, right? You start with your strategic goals, that's how you define what matters. Then you use your prioritization frameworks, like the Eisenhower matrix, to figure out what's next. And finally, you use a technique like time blocking to make absolutely sure it gets done. And this is so much bigger than just getting your own to-do list checked off. When you really get these skills down, you're not just managing your time better. You're becoming a leader who brings clarity. You're the one who cuts through all the noise and helps your whole team focus on the work that's actually going to make a difference. So, I want to leave you with one final question. Just for a second, forget about that massive to-do list you've got waiting for you. Based on everything we've talked about today, what is the single most important, high-impact quadrant 2 thing you will schedule time for tomorrow? Because figuring that out, well, that's your very first step on the path from chaos to clarity.